la, this is Femi Kuti. Tune into Sheila O on How Far. Ororororo, you will not regret it.
It's the Afrozons show, and this is How Far.
Chilling with my girl Sheila O. How far?
And How Far with Sheila O.
Sheila O. On How Far.
How Far.
How Far.
You're watching How Far with my main person.
Sheila O, baby.
Tune into How Far.
The only place where hip-hop meets Afrobeat. The whole package Then you had to kill them with DKT. No, stop it.
La, this is Femi Kuti. Tune into Sheila O on How Far. Ororororo, you will not regret it.
Watch How Far with Sheila O. Fridays and Mondays at 10:30 p.m. GMT +1 on HIPTV, DSTV. Powered by Star Rattler, Feyruz, and Munchit.
Checking in, it's your girl Sheila O. How far? What's up? Wagwan? How you all doing? Hope you all keeping safe. My guest today is the eldest son of Afrobeat pioneer and legend Fela Kuti. He started playing the saxophone at the age of 15 and eventually became a member of his father's band, Egypt 80, in 1986. He started his own band, Positive Force, which established him as an artist independent of his father's massive legacy. In 2001, he collaborated on his album Fight to Win with a number of US musicians, including Common, Mos Def, and Jaguar Wright. Also in 2002, he contributed a remake of his father's classic song, Water No Get Enemy, to Red Heart and Riot, a compilation CD in tribute to Fela Kuti that was released by the Red Heart organization and MCA. The living legend is also a 4-time Grammy Award nominee. Recently, he and his son, Madi Kuti, released their 2-album project, Legacy Plus, under Partition Records. The project includes Femi's 11th album, Stop the Hate, and Madi's debut album, Forward. Femi Kuti, King, How Far?
Welcome to part 2 of How Far with Sheila O, featuring special guest Femi Kuti.
Let's talk about Fela's legacy.
Yes.
In the sense of, in the US.
Yes.
He got the ballot for the Rock and Roll Hall of
Yes.
Fame. Okay, he got the ballot because we were out there pushing, going crazy,
Yes.
which was rightfully so. I didn't think they did us a favor. I think he was supposed to have been there. He was going toe-to-toe with Tina Turner. Now he's first, now she's second, now she's first, now she's second. We're going back and forth, looking at the numbers every day. All of a sudden, after the ballot, the nominees came out, the King's name wasn't there. I know I personally wrote to the Academy to ask a question. Do you think that was nepotism or favoritism, or do you think they're just not ready for the truth?
No,
What do you think happened there?
I think they just use Fela to cloud themselves, one. I think, but then when you go into the rules, that vote did not really count because there is another vote that really counts. I think in their hearts of hearts, Fela, they know Fela is uncomparable to many of the artists themselves. Many of the artists, from James Brown, Talking Heads, and name them, were all inspired by Fela.
All of them.
They even said so themselves. When you go to modern day musicians, Alicia Keys, Beyonce, Jay-Z, name them. They all have been inspired by Fela. Those that start down in the panel, either a sector said Fela deserves to be there, and the sector doesn't know Fela and refuse to do the research on Fela, which is their fault, which brings dishonor to them, because they should have done their research. When they see Fela is a master composer, when they see Fela's musical works, when they see what Fela has done globally to majority of artists in this life, there should not have even been a vote. The reason I participated was, for me it was fun. For me it was still getting Fela's name outside showing Fela is important. I'm not surprised of the results. Like I said, some people in that panel refused to do their research. Some people in that panel probably found it too hard to digest that who is this man from Nigeria, an African. You see, they like, let's go further, they like to ruin when an African does well. I'll give you a typical example where they even use us to bring ourselves down. Tony Allen, with due respect to him, he was a great drummer. But Tony Allen never ever put any drum pattern in Fela's compositions. We were all there. Many of us are still alive and can verify. To make the argument, so we don't argue too much, when you go to Fela's album, you see, many people think the way Fela composed was the way many of these great bands compose, where you just say, okay, I got a bass line. He plays the bass line, the drummer comes, puts a pattern, this one comes, puts a pattern, then the singer writes the song. Fela was not like that. Fela did everything. Even the koko, Fela will tell you when to do koko or koko. Fela will tell you the shekere, chikiti or chi. Fela will tell you what to put. Fela wrote the words. Fela did everything. You could not touch Fela's compositions, period. And everybody knew this from day one.
Right.
Make it clearer. When Fela wrote 2 very important books, This Beach of a Life and Why Black Man They Carry Shit. Nowhere in this book did Fela give any musician credit for his work. Now, the writers knew, so nobody even dared ask. Another proof. While Fela was alive, Tony Allen never, ever once said or challenged Fela once ever that, hey, Mr. Man, this drum beat is my own. Never. Then Fela dies. Then in 2000, because they want to give Tony Allen a name he doesn't deserve, they start to lie that Fela said. Fela said. If Fela made such a statement, now Fela was huge.
Right.
And when I say huge,
Massive.
Fela was huge. If Fela ever made such a statement, it will have been in the Nigerian press. It will have been everywhere. Everybody will have heard that Fela said, without Tony Allen, there will be no Afrobeat. So Fela never said such a thing. So so even the journalist that wrote it, I called him. I sent Ricky Steen, who is Fela's manager. Please send him an email. He says, yes, Fela said it, but he can't remember. I said, no, don't give me that nonsense. Find me the article. You that wrote it and you have put it on the internet. Where
there must be a backup. Where is it?
Where is it?
Yes,
where is the recording? Where is the paper? What paper was it written? We can trace it. You just don't put anything because we know the internet. If I want to say this person is whatever, if I put it on the internet, controversy will start, right? So we know what the internet is. You don't make such a statement. Now, Tony Allen never disputed this. This is why I lost respect for him. Because he knows the truth. You see, and so I can give you proof upon proof that it is the biggest lie. Now, those that set up that panel know it is a lie. Anybody in the music business who is serious and has followed Fela's career knows it's a lie. So it strikes me like another gimmick or another reason to discredit a great man who, when you look at it, is easily one of the greatest composers in the 20th century and has spilled on to the 21st century. Easily. So in 1,000 years, Fela will be looked upon probably greater than Mozart or Bach or anybody. Because when you now put Fela's music down and you write it, wow, this is precious. This is more precious than gold. So, and you see, so I believe it's envy because he wasn't British or whatever, or American. So it's very hard to swallow that, wow, why did God give this man such a gift?
Such a blessing, yes.
Why? I mean, you see, and I'm not saying this because he's my father. I try to be very objective. But where I see distortion in his life, and people try to take credit for what they have not, they want to reap what they have not sowed. People like us will always be there to say, no, you don't do that.
Set the record straight.
Yes. So all I'm doing again is setting the record straight. Unfortunately, and having said all this, I think Tony Allen was probably one of the, was a good drummer. I won't even say best drummers, because Fela did have other good drummers. Now, to prove one other point, if Tony Allen, when Tony Allen left, the question was, how are you going to play without Africa 70? But Fela started Egypt 80 and had hits after hits with Egypt 80. Fela changed his drum patterns over and over. While Fela was changing, Tony Allen didn't even
didn't
put
say
his hand and say,
nothing.
hey,
Excuse
Mr.
me,
Man,
can I
you should
say-
have come up. Why Fela is alive? You don't do it when the man is dead.
No.
When he's alive, hey, if you play those patterns again, I'm going to sue you. Or please tell the world those drum patterns are my own. Or those previous ones were my own. You never said
Never
that.
said that.
So why would you say it when the man is dead? When the man is not alive to defend himself? Lastly, listen to the drum patterns. Let me take one that is so obvious to everybody. Teacher, don't teach me nonsense. People say that Tony Allen said that it was him that brought the double bass drum. That's another lie. So what did Fela do? Fela put a triple bass drum. Kaka do. Kaka 1, 2, 3. Kaka don 2. Kaka 1, 2, 3. Kaka 1, 2. Just to show that this drum pattern is mine. Fela changed it. Do kaka do kaka pansa. Power show. Why black man they suffer? When you see the drum patterns always changing. You never said they were your own.
Exactly.
And when Fela puts on his album, composed, arranged, blah, blah, by Fela Kuti, you didn't even dispute it. His first 2 albums, Fela produced it. We were there, we saw it.
Right.
Unfortunately, they didn't do well as any of Fela's albums.
Right.
But Fela was Fela. Why will you go? You can't go up against somebody that has been gifted like that. You either follow or shut up,
Exactly.
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, just to show you
That has been a pattern.
that pattern. So when Fela is not indoctrinated in the Hall of Fame, I don't lose sleep. It doesn't even bother me because the truth will always prevail. It might take time. Everybody thought that Fela's death, that would be the end of Fela's name. Many government officials were just saying, Fela is dead, good, we can get on with our corruption. But see,
He became
another
stronger.
generation,
Over.
now boys and girls of 18 are talking about Fela.
Yes.
Fela is in the lips of most Africans,
Yes.
globally, everywhere. Beyonce now even pays tribute to him.
That's
The
right.
greatest artist
all
of
times.
their time
Yes.
has paid tribute to Fela. That was a problem that happened with my children, and they were in their school, and they were abusing Fela. So who's Fela, blah, 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 blah. And my children came home quite upset. I said, do you all know Beyonce? Yes.
Yes.
Do you know Beyonce paid tribute to your grandfather? No? Google. Google. See, Beyonce is paying tribute to your grandfather. Go back and tell those goats in your
Ignorant
school
people.
that they all know Beyonce.
Yeah.
If their biggest artist
Is
in
paying
their
tribute.
household is paying tribute to Fela,
Then what
you
more
know,
can be said?
I don't want to
didn't want
say
to
on
use the wrong
TV
word.
what else I said, but you can imagine what I said.
can imagine what you
You
said.
can imagine what I said. You see,
I can imagine.
let me even tell you, if they put all their fathers in that
Together.
school together, if they put all their names
They don't
together,
reach it, though.
so shut up. So they went back to school because they were losing concentration on their work. Why? They abusing their father, which they did it to me too. They abuse, your father smokes igbo, your father likes women, your father is this, your father is that. So I went through that in school. Teachers that didn't like my father will flog me or flog me harder because they didn't like my father. I was always fighting. And so it has been the pattern of our family. And now they're starting off. Omori Madetu went through this. So they thought it was a snob, but he just closed everybody up and just said, look, I'm going to focus on my school, focus on my life. But that, you see what he has become.
Yes.
But a lot of people try to discourage him or abuse him because of his father or his grandfather. Now they have started with my other children. I don't know how long this will go on for. I want to give you another example. You see, they talk of Fela liked women, but what about Abiola? You know, they say Fela drugs, but Bob Marley, see how he was smoking Igbo. Then the American artists that they all support were even taking hard drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Cocaine, heroin, but we never found any reason to discredit them. But so that means there was a reason to discredit Fela.
Yeah.
Because of his political views. Because Bob Marley was political, but you cannot compare Bob Marley's political views with Fela. Fela was more like a hardliner. And Fela was at home.
That's right.
Bob Marley was far away, so they could accept Bob Marley from afar. But Fela was here. So Fela was just like a thorn in their flesh. And that was Fela's main problem.
The gift and the curse. Can I say that?
I would say it's a curse. It's the way you perceive life. Let me give you another example of life.
Tell me.
Maybe the way we perceive life is wrong as human beings, or the creator has a problem. No, or don't let me exaggerate too much. 90% of everything is violent. When you go into the sea, the way fish eat themselves, everybody blood in the sea. You go in the forest, crocodile will kill this one, lion will tear this one. When we want to eat, we kill. So probably our perception of life and violence in the eyes of the creator is beautiful. Or why else did he do it? Or she do it? So maybe our thinking, we have to rethink our thinking.
Our thinking, right?
And you see, as a composer, you see, music makes me think wild or far.
Right.
Because so I don't see it as a curse.
Right.
Because if it was a curse, even Fela's children are still living Fela's dream.
But the curse is not a bad thing, Femi. The
That's what I'm
curse is
saying.
just how people misinterpret something. You know, like because you are who you are, that's the curse. Because
So
but
it's
you
not
are the
a curse.
gift.
It's not a curse.
It's not like that.
Because curse is bad.
You see, you're looking
when
at
you-
it from the African perspective of
So
curse.
see again, it's English. It's English. Let me give you another example. As
Okay.
Africans, we're conducting this interview in English.
Yes.
We should be conducting it in our language. I was saying the other day, 2 weeks ago on stage, the founding fathers of independence of this country were the problems, but of not their doing. Because one, they were British trained, they were still suffering from that colonial mentality.
Right.
How can you be sweet with people who came to rape your mothers, your daughters, kill your brothers, your sisters? Why are you begging them for independence?
Exactly.
And even if they had to go because they thought the British would come and attack them again, they should have had a plan. There was no reason for Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe or Awolowo or Tafawa Balewa to be envious of themselves.
Right.
Their priority should have been their people.
Right.
So whoever became president, it shouldn't have mattered.
Right.
It is how do we come and give back and make this country great?
Right.
How do we make sure every ethnic group, every people in this country
Right.
profit from the development of this
The
country?
country.
So it was so easy. Through their education, the European, the British could just go see through them because they were all speaking good, fluent, perfect English. Oh, and probably they said, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo doesn't like you, he's jealous of you. Said the same thing to vice versa, all of them. They came back, fought, did stupid elections, rigging. What's the outcome of it? Nigeria of today.
That's right.
Then we go into the Civil War. Ojukwu, Gowon. Who trained them? The British.
The British.
Perfect
colonized us.
English spoken people again. If they were speaking their language and they were thinking about their people, why would you want to kill your people? You understand what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
So you see, we as Africans have not seen the gravity of slavery and colonization. And education has absolutely nothing to do with this. We should be reflecting.
Right.
We should look, if we reflect, there's no way we'll be fighting amongst each other. So, that is my analysis in summary of our position today.
Hello, my name is Joey, and I want to thank Alpha with Sheila O for the Star Rattler and Munch It. I really appreciate Alpha.
Tell me, what does ararara mean? And because you say that when you get
Yes.
on stage,
Yes.
it's like a slang.
And the youth have taken
And they
it from
say,
me.
yes. So, but we need to know what it means though, because
It
it's now
doesn't
it's
mean
passed
anything.
on.
It's
You
like
just made
Fela
it up?
said, everybody say yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So growing up in 91, we said to play at the Shrine, my father's club, and I was thinking that I need my own gimmick. Since
Right.
my father said, everybody say yeah,
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 yeah.
and the crowd say yeah, yeah. So I said,
Wizkid says that too. I told him, so you nicked that from our father. He says, okay, yes.
no,
I
most
told
of
him.
them even do. No, somebody was even arguing with me that why am I stealing what?
What?
An artist I put. I said, what did you say?
What?
Me steal. So by the time I finished him, he corrected himself. Don't worry. Even Shoki Shoki was my nickname. And somebody did Shoki Shoki dance, and everybody, when I said Shoki Shoki, everybody say, why are you saying what somebody said? And luckily, there's proof in my career. The album Shoki Shoki.
Yes.
So you just have to go back. if you want to hear ra 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 ra, you go back 20 years, you hear it on the album somewhere. So I was looking for a gimmick, and so we started. I went on stage that day. I said, when I say ra 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 ra, everybody say ro 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 ro, and slowly but surely it started to catch on, started to catch on, until now.
Still
I
here.
think a lot of African artists even do it because my Nigerian brothers and sisters have taken it out for me. So it's now become public property.
It's been exported.
Exported everywhere.
The world is opening up finally, Femi.
Yes.
Thank God we all survived COVID. Glad to be alive, you know.
Why
What's
are you
next?
glad to be alive?
Because people died of COVID.
Who says it's not better to be dead?
No, we don't want to die.
Why don't you want to die here?
'Cause if
Wait,
our
excuse me,
legacies
say
have
again
not
your negative thought. Death is inevitable.
No, true.
So what you can say is that we want to live long and have a good
we
life.
wanna
But
live
even why do you want to
longer.
live long and starve? Why do you want to live long and go to war? Why do you want to live long for I can give you so many bad things that are happening today. Why do you want to be alive to see that? Why are you selfish in your thought? That because you have a good life and your brother and sister is suffering. So I don't think that should be a criteria to make a summary or speech of life that thank God we are alive. No, we shouldn't say that. I think we should just say we shouldn't
say that, right?
We should just
Okay.
avoid it.
Okay, let's avoid it.
Because what
But
do you do? A woman that just died giving birth, or the woman that loses her child after giving birth. What do you say? See what I'm saying? Is God unfair, or are we seeing life in the wrong
Perspective.
way? My language, for instance, Yoruba. We always reminded ourselves about death, that death is inevitable, death can come at any time. So, for instance, ku is death. So, eku aro, eku she, eku palemo, eku she, may you turn to a luminous spirit this morning. So, death was seen as, may you turn to a luminous spirit. Death was seen as not a bad thing.
Right.
When you go to Egyptian times, death was not seen as a bad thing, because we all have to pass through there. So when you start to live your life believing with fear, you're already not reaping the joy of life. One of the biggest teachings in my house is, come, daddy will die anytime. So you better enjoy daddy every day. So that's why I say my children, maybe that speech is what is even giving me stress. That's why
that was
they
giving you
jump on
stress.
me. They just jump on me and
But
tell me
Femi,
like,
do you look at it this way too,
Yes.
as being alive is a gift? That's how I see it. Because hold on, I haven't like, you are a legend already, Femi. Your childhood, the way you've grown, what you've seen, the message you've been given, you know. I haven't given my own message. I see it as a gift, because I also want to stay alive to give my own message, to be that channel that God wants to use me for. We're all a vessel. So that's what I mean by thanking God that I'm alive, because I don't think I have done enough.
if God thinks you have not done enough, then you will leave.
Yes, I think that's a better way to put it.
I think it's not.
It's by His will.
It's not your decision.
It's not my decision.
And who says God? Like I said, who says God is a he?
It could be a she.
So you
He,
see,
she.
yeah, I don't understand all
It's a
this thing.
spirit,
Spirit. Who says a spirit?
because we don't see it,
So.
but we
No,
believe though.
But my people will say God is omnipresent, omniscience.
That's right.
So we see God. God is the table. God is the air. God is the fan. God is your shoe. God is your clothes. Because out of everything comes God, and God is everything.
I mean, no, I won't win.
You can't win because I am well thought. These
Yes,
are topics
philosopher.
that have bothered me
I
as a
know.
child.
And
I'm
you
trying
have
to
thought
find
about it
answers.
deeply.
And every day I try to look for more answers to my existence.
Yeah.
And even Jesus Christ has said he's going to come back. We are still waiting. So, is there life after death?
Nobody knows.
My people say there is. So we keep an open mind. But we know one thing for sure. When you are alive, it's best to live the path of righteousness
Yes.
than a chaotic life negatively. Because we know what happens when you go that way.
Yeah.
So my people, our culture and tradition makes us move more with virtues of be tolerant, patience, be humble. So my culture and tradition teaches me this. But at the end of my life, I don't know. I don't know. Even where I think if there is hell, maybe I think I've had, and maybe people think I've been perfect, and maybe to whatever is out there feels I wasn't perfect enough. So, who knows what Who knows what our judgment will be, if there is judgment again.
No one knows.
But the best thing is to live your life to the best of your ability. Make sure you have a good time. Make sure you love your family, your friends, all those things. I don't have to even preach that. I'm sure you know.
What's your legacy before I let you go? I was
don't have a
privileged.
legacy. Why don't you call it legacy or legacy or anything?
Femi, let me finish. I was privileged to interview Rollins before he passed away.
Oh.
President Rollins. And I asked him what his legacy was and what he wanted to be remembered by. And I always want to do that whenever I'm with a legend. I always want to do that. It just comes to my heart.
I'll be dead.
You know, you'll be dead, but what do you want to be remembered with?
I don't care.
I really don't care. You are Natalie Kuti.
Why? Look, I'll be
you
dead.
are who you are.
Somebody that is not bothered about right now, why will I be bothered about after? Right now, I'm bothered about how I'm going to get on stage tonight and give the best performance of my life.
Right.
I live for the moment. When I go to bed, I don't even know. Many times it crosses my mind, will I wake up in the morning? I do want to wake up because of my children, because my children are still quite young.
They're young.
So I would love to live to see my grandchildren.
Yes.
But that is not not my decision. That is not will not be of my making. If I do, probably life wanted me to. So legacy, to be honest, I know that my name, it will be very hard to kill my name.
Very hard.
Because the work I've done
your teachings.
Human terms, I've done quite a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so my albums will always be out there. My children will carry my name further. But that doesn't bother me more than the love I share with people, than my children. So I don't think about that anymore. I never thought about that. I became a very hard worker.
Right.
I became, after my maternal grandmother spoke to me, because growing up as Fela's son, I was very arrogant. I was all the negative things you can think about. I was quite a horrible person. And when Buhari illegally jailed my father and I moved to my mother, my maternal grandmother gave me the talking to of my life. And she made me cry. And I was so upset that, you don't talk to Fela's son like that. How dare you talk to me, Femi and Nicola? Who the hell are
parents.
you? But she was my maternal grandmother.
That's right.
She doesn't mix her words.
Yes,
Very British. You bloody sword. I was ashamed. But she changed me.
Right.
So I owe 1,000% of my success to her, because she made me a serious musician. She made me take everything around me seriously. She made me take family seriously, my friends seriously, my band seriously. I saw that talking to just opened my mind to so many things, instead of being so negatively self-centered.
Right.
And I owe her that. So I hope we all find, when we're going the wrong way, we find people that will
guide
open
us.
Our minds to the true essence of our existence. So I'm not one to worry too much about legacy. So those that don't even have legacy, who says their legacy is not big? Maybe in that small circle they are.
Yeah, in that small circle it's massive. Yes.
Life. It's a big
in their own circle.
legacy.
That's right.
And who said you have not done anything? Probably you are being too greedy.
Hi, Jesus.
So I think just keep an open mind.
Yes.
Keep on doing what you have to do. As long as you're awake and you're alive, do your best every day. And then live the... I don't even want to say live the rest, but...
Live the rest of faith?
Is it faith, really?
Because we all practice different religions.
We are not sure something...
To your destiny?
I think we have a say. The way we propel ourselves every day and prepare ourselves, we have a say in our existence.
You can write your own story, I guess. No?
Yes,
it's not about wealth.
We can change it.
You can be poor. I grew up from humble beginnings, and look at me today.
I think we can change. So if you say this is your destiny, you can change it.
Yeah.
I think, so assuming my destiny was very negative. and I changed it.
Yeah.
Fela's son, I told you I was very arrogant, and my grandmother changed it. So, and that has helped me with my children, with myself, a changed person. So people who see me, people just see and they think, oh, when they even see me sitting and they think I'm arrogant, I'm just in deep thought, worried. Maybe I'm worried about, oh, my children were upset by something and I want to go home quickly to correct it. So they see me in that thought, and or they didn't do well in school and it worried me, and I think they have to do well. They have to put an effort. They cannot live off their father, because I don't want my children to live off me.
Yes.
And they have to understand that life can be very brutal. So I teach them like this, that look, life is not all roses and just fun and play. So when I sense they're like that, I start getting worried, and people will just pass say, Femi is arrogant. It's just that I'm in deep thoughts. I always think very foolishly, deeply.
Deeply, yeah. Femi, thank you so much for spending so much time with me. I really appreciate it.
I think I've even spoken too much. I don't like talking anymore.
No, but you are, this is us now. It's we.
No, but I still don't like talking anymore.
We have just spoken. It's us. It's we.
I still don't like talking. I talk too much. You see this my mouth. You see, you have to find a way to lock this my mouth. Just
no, you're a prophet. You gotta talk. You got a message to give. It is not for everybody.
I don't like talking again.
But thank you, though, Femi.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate
Nice
you so
talking
much.
to you.
Always. Thank you so much, guys. This is Sheila O with How Far. I've been here with the global icon, legend, genius, celebrity. He doesn't like any of those words, but that's what the world calls him. Femi Anikulapo Kuti, a.k.a. Femi Kuti. Thank you so much. Until next time, I love you all. Keep safe. How far now?